Okay. Welcome to my amazing stream where I'm making this weird game in Godot. Just gonna make sure it's actually working on YouTube. Go YouTube, you can do it. You can stream something. Or can you? You cannot? You cannot stream things? Isn't that the entire point of view? Oh, there you go. Now it's doing stuff. Alright, stuff is happening. Looks like stuff's happening all over the world. On Twitch and YouTube at least, as far as it involves me. Okay, going back to our game on Godot. Few updates. Last stream sucked because it was just broken. I fixed it, so that's something interesting. There's something I tried earlier today was to move all the scripts into one. Like, if you've been watching the stream, like millions of people have, one thing that I keep complaining about is how the scripts are like spread across the different entities, and how I think that that's pretty dumb. I'm not a very big fan of the style. I don't know how to open scripts. Oh, no, I do. I do know how to open scripts. That was a lie. So I have this one. I think it's this one. Or wait, no, it's not this one. This is the wrong project. Earlier today, I tried to move the scripts into a single script on this one here. And it didn't go great, mostly because I don't understand. It went great, except for I don't understand the multiplayer networking, so I can't get it to work quite right. I can get it to do this, where both players... Oh, there's music now that I made. If you missed that stream, go find it. I streamed myself making... It's not exactly that finished product, but close to it though. So I can get it to do this, which I don't know what this is. I don't know why both players see the viewpoint of the host player. That's not what we want. Okay, so that's as exciting as that is. I have an even more exciting thing to show you now. If we go to the original one, I did fix it. It does work. It does load the bricks. This is where I wish someone would watch this so I could get some feedback on the next decision here. Let me just show you this first. Okay, this is the one last stream I ended. I was like, yeah, this is broken. I'll have to fix it. It was collision layers in the players, and the problem with it is it's a bug. And I'm going to keep railing on this because, like, this seems like complete bullshit to me, like the tutorial that we followed and everything. It's like, it's a bug that I only half understand, which isn't, like, it's not great to half understand why something went wrong. They might explain it more in that tutorial that I followed originally, like a few videos back. They're like, yeah, so the player spawns, and because the collision layer is not set to a different layer, he flies up in the sky because it's like colliding like with itself or something weird like that. But it sounds like there's two players in one spot, and like that's how they fix that bug instead of fixing that there's actually two players spawning like wrong or something like that. Which might be why like I always find with projects you kind of just want to go like, I don't want magic. I don't want this bullshit of like this multiplayer crap. Like, I don't want this. I don't want whatever this bullshit magic is, because it is ruining my life. And like, I called this, I should just trust in myself that this is bad and this is not how you should do things, because like me not understanding how any of these RPCs work and stuff like that, like eventually from talking to ChatGPT, I did get it to load the currently place breaks from the server to whatever the client is, or at least I think so. I only ever load 2 instances to test it. So if there's 3, I don't know if it works or not. But like, this is not going to scale for me. Me not understanding how this works is not good. Like, it's not how you should build anything. So like, the fact that there's tutorials on this shit, and I'm not the worst dev ever. I'm not the best dev ever, but I'm not the worst. If this makes no sense to me, there's no way that this amount of magic should be in the hands of someone who's like new to Godot. Like, this is insane. It's too high level. It's not like, it's just magic. You have no idea how this works. It's not procedural. There's nothing about this that makes much sense. Like, in the way they did it, it could also be the person who did the tutorial just did it in a weird way. Like maybe because they're mixing signals here with other ways of doing things. Maybe it's just like their lack of experience, or maybe it's like maybe they know a lot and like this is just their preferred way of doing it, but they didn't they didn't consider like someone new to learning like this API for multiplayer here. Why you would eventually do things like this makes no sense to me. Why you're using signals mixed with everything else. And I complained about that. When I moved it all to one script, it was a hell of a lot simpler to work on everything in Godot. But it was also, I couldn't get the multiplayer to work because the issue is I don't know how this works. I'm just going to say it. It's that simple. This API, I don't understand it. And it's like, it's so high level that I don't believe that going forward, I'm going to be able to get this to do with multiplayer. Like, this is the issue with toy bullshit on YouTube. Like, don't make toy tutorials. They're fucking useless. They're so useless, they get in the way of ever making anything useful. They fuck people over. Start low level so that they can actually expand upon something. Because it's like, for example, I don't know what this does. I don't know if this is going to do what I need it to do down the road. And there is almost no settings I can configure with this. Same with this player one. This multiplayer synchronizer. What are the limitations of this? I can tell you they're going to be severe, but I don't know what they are yet, considering there's only one control on it. Here's what I want it to synchronize. It's like, you're going to immediately run into a wall if you're not making a stupid toy app that is the most basic of functionality that this does not cover. And what I'm debating now is whether Godot has pissed me off enough already to just switch to Bevy, which is the Rust framework, which is lower level, and is not going to have so much magic. I would believe anyway. It just has this pissed me off enough to not use Godot. Splitting of scripts onto this, doing this weird shit, where you split scripts. I know Unity does this too. I hate this. I hate this weird thing of where scripts are on objects. Makes no sense to me. So the decision now is, do I just at this stage, I could probably complete this game because luckily this game is very simple. It's not WoW. It's not something crazy big with a lot of scale. It's going to be somewhat simple, and I know what the end game is going to be like, and it's not going to be that complicated. Do I continue with Godot, or do I just restart in Bevy because I already hate this? That will be interesting. The problem with Bevy is it's going to make for very boring videos as I learn Bevy because it's it's probably gonna have a much larger learning curve. But I just do not trust this to be able to actually complete this game. I think that I'll just run into more problems that I just won't be able to solve because I just don't understand the magic of Godot. I don't understand how you're supposed to split the scripts up. I don't understand how you're supposed to test it. I don't understand how you're supposed to debug, do debug state. How do I start it halfway in between a game? I just don't know how to do any of that. And I get these game engines to me seem like they're designed. I always wondered why why does Sony make their own game engine? Why does Valve make their own game engine? Because these are shit. They're garbage. They're not. It's not the worst thing ever. And I know that some production games have been made in Godot, but I would imagine very fucking painfully at this point because this is just to me ludicrous. But I digress. Should I continue in Godot, just going through this pain, or should I make a bunch of boring videos of me learning Bevy and just programming this shit in Rust, which is a far superior language to GD script? Nothing wrong with GD script, it is what it is. It's just it's not really done wrong or anything like that. But I just don't like it. I don't like any non-strongly typed language, and this doesn't force typing. It doesn't force you to declare types and everything. I hate that because it just enables so many bugs. I don't like null values in languages because I've used Rust for a while, and once you use Rust or a language doesn't have null values, you just don't want them anymore because they also enable a whole category of bugs. So if there were passionate viewers watching, of which there was one, maybe he'll come back. Can you tell me what to do? Anyways, I did get it working. Multiplayer is difficult to begin with, and the engine not making it easier. Actually, to be fair to Godot, it's most games probably aren't multiplayer, and most games are probably single player. And for single player, this wouldn't be as bad. It wouldn't be great. I still think this putting scripts on objects thing is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But it would be more doable. Okay. Anyways, you can place things, and when someone joins it, wow, it downloaded the things. All the things are there. And then they can place things. And in theory, I gotta make these bigger, and I have to make a sneak and walk on them. Also, I've jumped off. Also, I have to check if this actually works with 3 players. Also, I might not stream tonight because I've made myself super angry with how much I hate Godot that I really need to think about whether I'm switching to Bevy or not. And it's gonna be funny because I'll switch to Bevy and then I'll just hate it more for some reason, but I don't actually believe that. I think Bevy's probably pretty dope. The problem with Bevy, actually, there is no problem. You know, fuck it. Let's switch to Bevy. All right, this is all gonna be done in Bevy now. It's gonna be done in Rust, the language I like, and it's gonna be done in ECS so I actually learn something. ECS Entity Component System is a different way of programming games. It's much more fascinating than this shit. To me, like, this is a waste of time. I'm not learning anything. I'm only learning how to make shit I already know how to do work in Godot, which is like not learning anything. Like, I already know how to program most of this shit. I just have to figure out how it works in Godot because I don't know how Godot wants me to program that shit or how to organize it. I'm not learning anything. I don't want to waste my time. Because like most video games, they don't make money. Like you're not likely to make money making a game like this. So don't count on that. You know, you're more likely to make money if you have a few games under your belt, and especially if they've already made money. But what is even happening to me? What was that sound? Did I do something good? Do people love my ranting? Am I ranting well? Oh, shit. I forgot what I was ranting about. It made a cool sound, though. I actually don't know how streaming really works. Hey, look. There's a new person. Good. I just need to rant more. Fuck. What was it talking about? Oh, not learning anything, program for Godot, because with Godot, I'm just taking shit I already know how to do and trying to figure out how it works with Godot. With Bevy and an entity component system, that is a paradigm I've tried it a little bit in Unity Dots back in the day, just a little bit to like kind of figure out what it's about. It's a very interesting way to think. It's a completely different way of making games, but I do have faith that that I'm going to have a more enjoyable time not using GDScript, number one, just because I don't really like the language that much, but number two, not having this weird magic of like, I literally don't know, and I'm not a new dev, if I can get this to work. Like, it's going to be, like, I think if I just, like, put enough effort to it, I could. Like, if I really want to hit F5 enough times and test this enough times by manually walking through it, I could get the game finished. But, like, it's never going to feel good. I don't think, unless I really look at this API and study it for like a long time and look under the hood and actually figure all of it out. And I like, so is that worth doing? I doubt it. And with Bevy, you're going to probably be doing a little bit lower level. Cause like, look at this shit. This is how the second and maybe third player, actually, I do need to check that, see if it actually works. This is how the second player gets the objects. And like, this is a very basic, because we only started this project a few days ago. This is a very basic thing to do. How do they get the data from the server when they load the game? So like, look at this shit. This is me programming, like, this is apparently how you're supposed to do it, I believe. This is called programming around the problem. This is me solving it with the tools at hand. Like, read this. Like, if you gave this to anybody and you go, hey, tell me what this does, they would have not a fucking clue. Here's how that should look. Send data to new client. This is literally what this script should be. Just send game state to new client. Like, that's the function I want to fucking write. I don't want this. Because, like, I know when I come back to this, to work on it, I don't know what this does. Like, if multiplayer server return while running an RPC, like, it's just like, who does this send to? Why is it sending to the server if it's an RPC? Like, it's so fucking confusing. Why is it running RPC ID? Is that a call to an RPC? Why does it take an ID now? Like, and why is it calling the server's ID? If you're the server returned, then it calls an ID, one with the server's ID? Like, request state from server. And like, this is right. Apparently it does work, but it does not seem right. And how I solved this was mostly guess and check. And this is just not how you program things. Like, someone can disagree with me that's more experienced with game dev and Godot than I am, but like, this is not how you fucking make something. Like, it's just, this would be impossible to work on. I'm used to working on very large projects with very few devs. And like, this to me is like, I would fire someone who did this. Not even kidding. Like, I'd just be like, no, change that or go. Like, this is just insane. So probably what we'll be doing, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stream this for, but I'm probably going to switch to Bevy, and the next stream will just be me using Bevy and like trying to figure this shit out. Bevy has something called Renet, I think, which is their multiplayer, and it'll be quite a learning curve probably because you're going like lower level than this, but I hate magic, and every time I use anything magical, like this multiplayer API, I always end up using something lower level and just learning it properly. And I recommend that you do the same. I don't know how many times in my life that's occurred. Like every single time, I would say. Like every time you're using a framework that's too high level or anything, you end up like just going lower level and like just doing it yourself. Like depends on the framework, whatever. But like it's like that phenomenon of how like new web devs just know React and they don't know how to fucking program anything. They just know how to use React. They don't know how to use JavaScript. Mind blowing. But like you see it in the resurgence of HTMX, or like of the new HTMX, which is basically just a minor JavaScript file in HTML extending HTML's functionality instead of really using any framework at all. It's like people have finally realized that like it's better to just understand what is happening than to have super powerful abstractions that you don't understand. And that's basically that's the point I'm trying to make. Godot, I have made one little game in Godot before, and it was a single player game. And it's not bad. Like, it's not like it's worse than Unity or anything else, but like, this is just not my style. Making a bunch of shit I don't understand is just not my style of anything, really. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Counter-Strike, and then we'll come back tomorrow night, and we'll start in Bevy, which will be probably very slow going, but if you're interested in Rust or game creation in Rust, the nice thing about streaming in Bevy is I'll probably be one of the only people doing it. There's a lot of people use Godot, not that it's the biggest engine or anything like that, but like it is, there's other streams you can probably watch of people making games in Godot. Making games in Bevy, I don't know if there's any streams of that. It's quite rare to know Rust devs, and it's quite rare for Rust dev to be making games because they make a lot of system tools generally and stuff like that. They don't often make games, although Bevy is becoming quite a large framework in Rust, which is pretty cool. Rust slowly seems to be taking over everything. So, I guess first we'll test to see if 3 players doesn't even work, that'll even prove my point further. Because if 3 players does not work, I will not know what to do. And like the last time I was in like a programming situation where I had a bug and no idea how to solve it was probably years ago. Like it's like with no clue how to solve it. Like I just feel like I'm like a brand new programmer in this shit. Anyways. Let's see if 3 players actually does work. It might just crash out, and that'd be hilarious. Okay. Place some brickies. Alright, works to the first player. Another option would be, if this does work... Okay, there we go. There's 3 of us. If this does work, we could just try and go until we run into something... Well, I don't know if I want to do that even. Like, the game isn't that complicated. What we're going to basically do is you place the bricks, and you can place them in the air, and there's a finish line, and there's cannons that shoot at you. Right? Like, that's pretty much the game. It's not that complicated. So, like, we could just continue and try and do it, like, just to see how far we get, but, like, even the thing I'm dreading is, like, does disconnect actually work? Oh, it does. The thing about that is like I already know that I don't know how to have the cannons track and fire people and synchronize all of it without a lot of magic involved. And the magic is like whatever this thing is, like multiplayer synchronizer just synchronizes shit on multiplayer. Like that's cool and all, but I guess the cannon has that, and if that doesn't work, I'm fucked. Like it's just like that's the thing with all this weird magic shit. It's like, if this doesn't work for anything I want to do, I'm fucked. I have no recourse. Like I'll just end up like ripping all of it out and reprogramming all of it. So for a cannon or something like that, another entity, to be aiming at everybody and like to be aiming and shooting cannonballs, already to me sounds like it'll be somewhat difficult to do again. Because like it's gonna involve a bunch of like RPCs, probably of like, how's it gonna work? Yeah, I mean I could try it. I just don't have any interest in doing it. Like I don't have any interest of learning why this is a dumb way to do it and having it run right into a wall. Like I can make it. It tracks the players. How does it track the players if you're doing RPCs and shit? Who does it track? How does it know where they are? See, that's the issue that I run into with a lot of this stuff is like, okay, so you have players with their own script, world with their own script, and I saw a lot of videos on Godot, which I hated, of like half the battle is trying to make something aware of where something is. Like in Rust Bevy, how it's aware of it is it's just going to fucking be aware of it. Like it's because I know now I have to be like, okay, the player, how does the thing that shoots the cannonballs know where the player is? That's not a real problem. Like that is the dumbest problem. That's like if you're doing web dev shit and you're like, how does it know where this page is? It's like, because I fucking told it where the page is. Like it's such an artificial bullshit problem that these game engines are for some reason embracing. I just don't understand it. But I doubt Bevy does. I think Bevy will just know because it's going to be more procedural, more programmatic, and less magical and weird. That's my theory anyway. I'll eat my. You know what? I'll pay everyone watching this $50 if I'm wrong. There's no way. There's no way that you have these kinds of problems in Bevy. I would just doubt it. Doesn't seem like a thing to me. So anyways, like, because now I'm thinking it's like, okay, we have the cannon. The cannon has to shoot the player. The cannon now has to know about the player without it being in the same script, which is dumb, an artificial problem to begin with. And then the RPCs have to guide the cannonball to hit the player, and that has to be replicated across all players. So it's like, what's responsible for what in that scenario? Is the cannonball its own magical fucking object? Like, which of course it will be in Godot. It's a special object that needs its own scripts. Like, instead of just being a goddamn sphere, it's a goddamn sphere, and it has a position in space. Like, that's like what it is. But in Godot, it's its own thing, with its own scripts, its own brain, instead of just being controlled by some master script that just runs physics on it and just updates. Like, that's what it should be. It's like shoot cannonball, cannon, vector to shoot it at, like cannon, fire, and then it just like tracks it with an art. Like, it just goes, okay, cannon's fired. That just runs some physics. Like, let's say let cannon, and then you just go. That's all spelled wrong. Cannon obviously has two ends, I believe. So you go cannon dot update players, and that would just like update it. It'd be something like that. It'd be like something much more logical, I think. Would that work? Yes, I think you could do that. Well, either way, you'll be doing something a lot more like that, where it's just like, I guess I can't really explain exactly what I mean, but I think fundamentally, the thing that's bothering me is what I'm reading isn't what's happening. Like, this is, like, if you read this, you do not know, you're going to have to find the person who wrote this code to fix this. And, like, I don't want to program anything like that. I never want to program anything like that, because that's just not how the world works. Like, you're always, like, anyone should be able to work on any part of the code base unless it's something extremely specific. Like, unless it's like, you know, you need a physicist to do some sort of really crazy algorithm, or not a physicist, but like you have a specialized person in a domain, a very specialized domain, doing, like, say, a machine learning algorithm. Yeah, then the average guy doing some code in other places, yeah, they don't know what it is. It's extremely specialized. This is not specialized code. It should not be that you need an expert to do this stuff. Like, this is not a complex game. This isn't even a toy game yet. Like, this is just getting wildly complex for something that doesn't do anything. Like, this whole thing should be like like 100 lines of code, like the whole thing. And like it's not that many lines of code here, but it is split across multiple things, right? It should be like just one file, 100 lines of code for everything. This should be the entire game right now. And to me, it's just like if this is the start of the game, it's just going to get worse. And it already feels bad. So I'm not going to do the Godot thing, and we're going to go with Bevy. All right. Join me tomorrow night for Bevy action, I guess. We'll download that, get that set up, and see how that goes. It'll be slower going with Bevy. There's going to probably be more setup than Godot. Godot is pretty easy to just like jump into and make a very simple one-player thing with. ECS programming in general has more setup time just due to the nature of it's like it's more of a blank slate by far than anything that you'll get in the Godot engine. It's much more like it doesn't do anything until you tell it to, or program the logic for it to do anything. It is so there's plugins and stuff for it, but it's going to be a longer setup time, I would imagine. So yeah, join me tomorrow. We'll use Bevy, and it'll be interesting, and I will stop getting a migraine from working on this dog shit. All right.